In the vast expanse of space, there are few sights more incongruous than a midnight blue minivan hovering near the Galactic Administrative Center's defense perimeter. Yet there it was, complete with "My child is a star student" and "Space Mom on board" bumper stickers, piloted by the most dangerous force the galaxy would ever encounter, Isabella Rodriguez, searching for her daughter. The night shift supervisor at GAC Security Station 7, Officer ZYX-427, watched in bewilderment as the vehicle seamlessly bypassed their most sophisticated defense systems. The readings from the ship made absolutely no sense. It appeared to be powered by an impossible combination of fusion technology and what his sensors identified as organic juice boxes. "This has to be a malfunction," ZYX-427 muttered, tapping his display with one of his 4 appendages. But before he could run another diagnostic, every screen in the command center lit up with an incoming transmission. "Good evening," came a pleasantly firm voice, accompanied by what the AI identified as smooth jazz, playing in the background. "This is Isabella Rodriguez. I'm looking for my daughter Maria. 12 years old, dark hair, probably wearing that rocket ship hoodie I told her was too thin for space travel. Ring any bells?" The transmission wasn't coming through any of their secure channels. Somehow, this human had patched directly into Grand Administrator Vexthor's personal communication line, a feat that should have been impossible. "Madam," ZYX-427 began, following standard protocol for unauthorized communications, "this is a restricted dash." "Oh sweetie," Isabella interrupted, her tone shifting to something that made his exoskeleton tingle with primitive fear. "I've spent the last 3 days being transferred between 27 different departments, filled out 42 forms in triplicate, and listened to your hold music for approximately 18 hours. Let's skip the restricted access speech." The security officer's sensors indicated she was simultaneously parallel parking her minivan between 2 patrol cruisers while organizing what appeared to be a digital spreadsheet labeled Galactic Administrative Center, Safety Violations, 2024 to 2025. "I should inform you that unauthorized documentation of security protocols is ZYX-427 tried again. Is that what you want to focus on?" Isabella asked, her voice honey-sweet. Instead of explaining why the summer space camp's emergency evacuation procedures haven't been updated since the last cosmic cycle. Or perhaps you prefer to discuss the interesting financial transfers I found while cross-referencing the camp's registration fees with offshore quantum accounts. ZYX-427's antennae went rigid. Those records were supposed to be encrypted at the highest level. "How did you access that information?" "Google," she replied simply. "And a lot of time during those 18 hours on hold. You really should update your firewalls. They're about as effective as the baby gate Maria used to climb over when she was 2. Warning lights began flashing across the security station as more systems detected unauthorized access. But what truly terrified ZYX-427 wasn't the technical breach, it was the notification that just popped up on his screen: "Meeting invite, discussion of summer space camp safety standards. Duration, as long as necessary. Attendance, mandatory." The most sophisticated security system in 3 spiral arms had just been compromised by a calendar invitation. "Now," Isabella continued, pulling out what appeared to be a folder of meticulously organized documents, "shall we discuss where my daughter is, or should I share these findings with the other parents in my quantum chat group? I believe you know them, they're the ones whose children are also experiencing technical difficulties with their camp communication systems." ZYX-427 felt his career flashing before his eyes. In the background, he could hear other parents joining the call, each armed with their own spreadsheets and documentation. The last thing he saw before his systems were overwhelmed was Isabella Rodriguez updating her status to "Room Parent, Galactic Division." The revolution wouldn't come with armies or warships. It would arrive in a minivan, armed with spreadsheets, and led by a force more unstoppable than a supernova, a mother looking for her child. The Galactic Administrative Center had survived interstellar wars, cosmic anomalies, and that embarrassing incident with the quantum coffee maker. But nothing in their 9 million pages of protocols had prepared them for Isabella Rodriguez and her rapidly growing network of concerned parents. Within hours of Isabella's initial contact, the GAC's pristine lobby had been transformed into what security officers described as a tactical organizational zone. Floating holoscreens displayed color-coded spreadsheets, while parents from 17 different species compared notes on safety regulations and administrative oversights. Grand Administrator Vexthor, watching from his secure office, felt his primary heart skip a beat as he observed Isabella efficiently organizing what she called a small parent-teacher conference. The fact that she'd somehow managed to book every meeting room in the facility, including the ones that technically didn't exist, was concerning enough. But it was the matching t-shirts that really terrified him. Intergalactic Parents for Transparency, he read aloud, his voice trembling. With clipboard icons. His assistant, Terminal 9, hovered nervously nearby. "Sir, we've detected unauthorized access to our procurement records, safety inspection logs, and, oh no." "What is it?" "They found the cafeteria menu planning documents." Vexthor collapsed into his quantum ergonomic chair. "Initiate Emergency Protocol 7-. They've already reorganized the filing system," Terminal 9 interrupted. "All our protocols are now categorized under areas for improvement, in Mrs. Rodriguez's master spreadsheet." In the lobby below, Isabella was leading what she called a productive discussion about the space camp's emergency response procedures. She'd somehow obtained architectural plans for every facility in 3 sectors and was calmly highlighting structural inconsistencies while simultaneously organizing a bake sale fundraiser for improved safety equipment. "And these evacuation routes," she was saying, gesturing to a holographic display, "they're about as logical as my daughter's explanation for why her room is technically clean. Now, who brought the quantum cookies? We'll need snacks for the audit committee meeting." The gathered parents, armed with tablets and determination, had already formed specialized task forces. The nutrition committee was analyzing the molecular composition of Mystery Meat Mondays. The transportation safety group had discovered 17 violations in the student shuttle maintenance logs. And the newly formed curriculum review board had somehow gained admin access to the entire educational database. "Sir," Terminal 9 reported, "they're introducing something called Taco Tuesday to the cafeteria menu. And, they're implementing a new pickup and drop-off system for the space lanes." Vexthor watched in horror as centuries of carefully cultivated bureaucratic chaos were streamlined into efficient, user-friendly processes. "How?" he whispered. "Our systems are protected by the most advanced security in the galaxy." "They used something called a sign-up genius," Terminal 9 replied, bewildered. "And apparently, we all volunteered for playground monitoring duty next week." In the command center, Isabella was now leading a workshop on proper documentation procedures while simultaneously coordinating a galaxy-wide survey on student satisfaction rates. Her digital presentation, titled Common Sense Solutions for Cosmic Education, had somehow become required viewing for all administrative staff. "Remember," her voice echoed through the facility's communication systems, "we're not just reorganizing an intergalactic bureaucracy here, we're creating a better future for our children. Now, who wants to join the PDA subcommittee on quantum safety protocols?" The revolution was spreading. Across the galaxy, parents were comparing notes, sharing documents, and organizing committee meetings. The Galactic Administrative Center's perfectly inefficient systems were being transformed by the most powerful force in the universe, parenthood combined with organizational skills. And somewhere in the midst of this administrative uprising, Maria Rodriguez was probably rolling her eyes and saying, "Mom, you're being so embarrassing right now." But Isabella wasn't just fighting for Maria anymore. She was fighting for every child in every space camp across the galaxy. And she was armed with the deadliest weapons known to bureaucracy: spreadsheets, sign-up forms, and an unlimited supply of determination. Grand Administrator Vexthor made one last attempt to maintain control. He tried to initiate the emergency containment protocols, only to find that they had been rescheduled due to a conflict with the PDA meeting. The message on his screen read, "Your attendance is required. Snacks will be provided." The Intergalactic Commerce Exchange had never seen anything quite like it. Their most sophisticated market prediction algorithms were throwing errors, unable to compute the impact of what they termed unprecedented organizational efficiency. The cause? A galaxy-wide network of parents who had discovered the true power of PTO, parents taking over. Isabella Rodriguez sat in her minivan, now parked in the executive spacecraft bay of the Commerce Exchange headquarters, coordinating what she modestly called a small fundraising initiative. Around her, parents from across the galaxy were setting up virtual bake sales that somehow included detailed reports about supply chain irregularities in their ingredient lists. "Did you know," Isabella commented while updating her master spreadsheet, "that the company providing freeze-dried ice cream to our children's space camps is the same one that failed health inspections in 3 different star systems? Such an interesting coincidence to mention in our bake sale flyers." The Commerce Exchange's chief financial officer, Lord Dextron of the Quantum Realm, watched in horror as his carefully constructed financial empire began unraveling faster than a poorly knitted space sweater. Parents were comparing notes about procurement contracts, cross-referencing safety violations, and somehow turning routine PTA meetings into shareholder activism events. "They're organizing a galactic bake sale," his assistant reported, voice trembling. "With spreadsheets. Just a bake sale?" Dextron asked hopefully. "Each cupcake comes with a QR code linking to our complete financial history. And they're calling it, transparency treats." The parents had discovered something that centuries of financial regulations had missed: the entire galactic economy was essentially held together by quantum duct tape and creative accounting. Isabella's network of organized parents had turned their skills at planning school fundraisers into a powerful tool for economic reform. "Remember," Isabella's voice echoed through the commerce channels, "we're not just selling cookies here. We're investing in our children's future. Now, who'd like to join our new subcommittee on sustainable space camp funding?" The Commerce Exchange's emergency meeting was interrupted by calendar invites to a casual coffee chat about corporate responsibility. The invites somehow bypassed every security protocol and automatically added themselves to all executive schedules. The listed dress code was, business casual, bring your conscience. Lord Dextron made one final attempt to maintain control. He tried to initiate emergency financial protocols, only to discover that all his access codes had been reorganized into a color-coded system designed by the newly formed Parent Resource Management Committee. "Your new password is Accountability Matters 2025, the system helpfully informed him. "Please note that the next PDA meeting will include a workshop on transparent financial practices. Attendance is mandatory. Snacks will be provided." The revolution wasn't just spreading, it was being efficiently organized, documented, and project managed with the kind of precision that only parents who had mastered the art of coordinating multiple school events could achieve. And somewhere in the galaxy, Maria Rodriguez was probably explaining to her new alien friends, "Yeah, that's my mom. She's kind of intense about parent involvement." But Isabella wasn't just fighting corrupt corporations anymore. She was reshaping the very fabric of galactic society with the most powerful tools known to parenthood: organization, determination, and an unlimited supply of baked goods with pointed messages attached. The Commerce Exchange's final surrender came not with a bang, but with a calendar notification, meeting to discuss implementation of family-friendly business practices. Duration, until properly implemented. Snacks, accountability cookies provided. The Galactic High Council had never experienced anything quite like the Interstellar School Board meeting of 2025. The ancient chamber, designed to host negotiations between star systems, was now filled with parents armed with presentation slides and action items. Isabella Rodriguez stood at the podium, her legendary spreadsheet projected on the quantum display behind her. "Let's discuss the proposed reforms for intergalactic education," she began, her voice carrying the weight of 1,000 PTA meetings. And yes, attendance is being tracked. The council members, beings who had negotiated peace treaties and trade agreements, found themselves facing something far more formidable, a mother with data and a vision for change. Your emergency response protocols, Isabella continued, pulling up a detailed analysis, have more holes than my daughter's explanation about her quantum physics homework. And don't get me started on the cafeteria situation. The Parents' Coalition had grown into an unstoppable force. Representatives from every species had joined, each bringing their own organizational skills to the revolution. The Andromedans had created a shared calendar system that somehow predicted administrative decisions before they happened. The Centaurians had developed a grading system for bureaucratic efficiency that made even the most hardened officials nervous. High Counselor Zaxvor attempted to maintain order. This meeting is not sanctioned by Dash. Actually, Isabella interrupted, pulling up another spreadsheet, according to Article 7, subsection 12 of the Galactic Charter, which I took the liberty of reorganizing by relevance and practical application. Citizens have the right to petition for educational reform. We're just exercising that right. Efficiently. The revolution reached its peak when Isabella unveiled the parents' masterpiece, a complete reorganization of the galactic educational system, color-coded and indexed with backup plans through Plan Z. Each proposal was supported by data, parent testimonials, and surprisingly effective pie charts. We're not asking for permission, Isabella declared, her voice echoing through the chamber. We're implementing positive change. Now, who'd like to volunteer for the first shift of corridor monitoring? The council's resistance crumbled under the weight of organized parental determination. Their last attempt at maintaining the old system was met with a galaxy-wide, reply-all email chain that crashed several quantum servers. By the end of the meeting, the Galactic High Council had been effectively transformed into a supersized school board, complete with monthly newsletter requirements and mandatory volunteer hours. The parents' victory was sealed not with traditional documents, but with sign-up sheets for various committee positions. And somewhere in the galaxy, Maria Rodriguez was probably updating her social media status. Mom just reorganized the government. Again. #parental power #galactic PDA. The revolution proved that the most powerful force in the universe wasn't gravity or dark energy, it was parents armed with organizational skills and an unshakable determination to improve things for their children. The council's final surrender was marked by a simple calendar entry, New Era Implementation Meeting. Required materials, open mind and willingness to change. Snacks, victory cookies provided by the Parent-Teacher Alliance. 1 year after the Great Parental Revolution, the galaxy had transformed in ways no one could have predicted. The Galactic Administrative Center, once a labyrinth of bureaucratic chaos, now ran with the precision of a well-organized bake sale. Isabella Rodriguez, recently elected as the first Supreme Educational Coordinator, surveyed her domain from her office, formerly the High Council chamber, now equipped with a minivan parking spot. The changes were everywhere. Space stations featured family-friendly facilities. Emergency protocols were clear, efficient, and tested regularly. The legendary Mystery Meat Mondays had been replaced with nutritionally balanced meal plans, approved by a committee of parents from 17 species. Mom, Maria's holographic message flickered in the air, did you really have to add homework hour to the space camp schedule? Isabella smiled while updating her famous master spreadsheet, now integrated into the galaxy's central operating system. The document that had started as a simple search for her daughter had evolved into the foundation of a new social order. The Intergalactic Parent-Teacher Association held more real power than any previous governing body. Their meetings, structured with ruthless efficiency and always accompanied by healthy snacks, had become the true seat of galactic governance. Former bureaucrats found themselves learning new skills. Lord Dextron, once the feared financial overlord, now taught transparent accounting for cosmic education while volunteering at student science fairs. Grand Administrator Vexthor headed the Making Bureaucracy Work for Families committee, though he still flinched whenever someone mentioned spreadsheets. The revolution's lasting impact wasn't just in policy changes. It was in the cultural shift that rippled across the stars. Species that had never considered the importance of parent-teacher conferences now had dedicated quantum channels for family communication. The phrase, "It takes a galaxy to raise a child," became the new motto of interstellar cooperation. Isabella's final act of the day was to approve the new Universal Parent Rights Declaration, a document that guaranteed educational transparency across all star systems. As she signed it, using her favorite digital pen, the one with infinite ink and built-in grammar check, she couldn't help but smile at how it all started, with a mother looking for her daughter and armed with nothing but determination and organizational skills. Meeting reminder, her system chimed. Galaxy-wide PDA conference starting in 5 minutes. Agenda, planning the next millennium of educational excellence. Snacks will be provided. The greatest revolution in galactic history hadn't come through force or fear. It had come through sign-up sheets, spreadsheets, and an unstoppable force of organized parents who simply wanted better for their children. And somewhere in the vastness of space, a midnight blue minivan still orbited the Galactic Administrative Center, its bumper stickers updated to read, "My mom revolutionized the galaxy and all I got was this quantum t-shirt."